Investigating Where We Live is a photography-based camp where we go out on site visits to different parts of Washington, D.C., and we learn about that area, its past, its present, and what it's planning for the future.
On the first day, we talked about how to take and identify a good photograph. As we took more photos, we utilized different techniques on how to take a good photo, such as natural framing or rule of thirds, to become better photographers. We tagged different photographs in order to identify which techniques were used to better our skills and understanding of photographs.
Rule of thirds in there, perspective, repetition.
Those were you.
Bravo. Let me see it.
And I think that the most important thing is to be patient and wait for the right moment to take the picture so you can take the best picture you can.
We also talked about what makes a community and how to identify historic elements in a neighborhood.
So big history is Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and Martin Luther King. But historic preservation is really kind of concerned about small history, except that happens in your neighborhood. The historic districts in your neighborhood, the historic house around the corner.
The big question was, what does the past have to do with the future? And we went about answering it through going to site visits. And what we did is we tried to make connections through our Shaw then site visits and our Shaw now site visits. And we also went out and interviewed people of the community and asked them about their opinions on what they think the past has to do with the future.
We visited the Carter G. Woodson House in Shaw, and though we didn't have access to the inside of it, we went to the Mary McLeod Bethune House and heard a video of her speech, and it really inspired me because I felt passionate also about what she felt passionate about.
Initially, the Army didn't want to let black women join, but Bethune convinced Roosevelt to let black women into the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps. So you have black women serving in the Army. They're doing tons of different fundraisers. Bethune is the one that gets that training program set up so those African Americans can learn how to be pilots and that can actually fight in World War II. So she's doing a lot of different stuff during World War II.
There were many things interesting about the historical sites of Shaw, like the Grimke School and the Howard Theater, because most of them have changed or are changing in a different way, like the Grimke School, which is now the African American Civil War Museum.
Hey.
But she's got one that looks like off today.
There's that building right there.
Okay, let's go.
I learned many things from the visiting curators that helped with our exhibition. I learned about proportion, representation, and clarity, factors that really helped set the standards between a well-done exhibition and a poor exhibition.
It's important to kind of think visually about how things are going to look, and then that you sequence things. So if you really need to see something first, right, to have the story make sense, then you have to make sure that they see that first. You can't, have it be the third thing to see if it's the most
To brainstorm for our exhibition theme, we thought about our tracks and our visits in Shaw and our pictures, and so as a group we thought about a title and then we worked from there.
We are installing, hanging up the photos, we're installing our interactive. We are also painting the last finishing touches on maybe our pedestals.
So what did you think of Marlon, the man we just talked to outside, the one who lived through the riots?
I thought he was I guess, one of those inspirational older people, because he actually kind of explained some of what happened that was going on at that time. He kind of gave us a window of what was going on because he was younger, and he was pretty much telling us that when you're given an opportunity to do something, don't take advantage of it and don't be the ones that destroy it yourselves. You need to make sure you maintain it and keep it up and running, because you don't want other people to have to rebuild what was supposed to be yours, because then it kind of like you lose the sense of what was yours. And so he said pretty much be inspired to do what you want to do and don't let anyone tell you can't do what you can do, because in this day and age you have the ability to do what you can do.
Oh my goodness.
Did he do this?